Traveling can be an incredible experience, but it can quickly turn into a nightmare if you make any of these 10 common travel mistakes. Whether you're a seasoned traveler or just starting to explore, you'll want to avoid these slip-ups to make sure your next trip is smooth sailing. Listen, I've been there, traveled to many places, and made my fair share of mistakes. But today I'm sharing the ones you can totally avoid. Let's dive into the top 10 things you should never do while traveling. So this one's a classic, and it catches way more people off guard than you'd expect. If your passport is within 6 months of expiring, some countries might not even let you in. Always check your passport well before your trip, ideally 6 months in advance, and renew if necessary. Trust me, you don't want to be the person frantically booking a last-minute appointment at the passport office days before your flight. We've had a family member do that. It's terrible. I get it. You want to be prepared for everything, but overpacking is a rookie mistake. Not only will you'll be lugging around extra heavy bags, but you don't have room for souvenirs or new items you pick up along the way. Pack smart, focus on versatile clothing, and leave extra space in your suitcase for things that you'll want to bring back. You always want to bring things back. Think of your suitcase as like a closet on wheels. If you can't easily roll it, it's time to rethink your strategy. Leave space to take things home. You're always going to grab something. Picture this, you're in a foreign country ready to grab some cash and your card gets declined.
Nope.
Why? Because your bank thinks someone stole it. Always notify your bank and credit card companies about your travel plans to avoid any unnecessary stress. So this one happens to a lot of people. Make sure you let your bank know where you're going. Make sure you let your credit card know where you're going. Get one of those credit card, actual travel credit cards, because they're usually not as bad as some of the other ones. But yeah, not being able to pay for things makes you look like a huge dork. So it's easy to assume everything will go smoothly, but travel has a way of throwing curveballs. Always make digital and physical copies of your passport, travel insurance, and important documents. Keep the copies separate from the originals just in case. So this one is huge for me. I like to take screenshots and PDFs and put everything on a Google Drive, so it's not actually in the same spot or even on paper, so that I can access that on my shared drive folder and then go and pull the documents if I need them. For instance, if I lose my medical card or anything like that, it's a great way to do it. So here's one people often overlook, the time zone difference. When booking flights, tours, or even making dinner reservations, forgetting to account for the time difference can mess up your whole schedule. Use a world clock app to make sure you're on track. This was a big one for me for Hawaii. I was actually setting up my entire calendar for Hawaii excursions and reservations and everything. Realized I had it on EST and I had to go back and do everything over again. It was pretty annoying. I was actually pretty annoyed at myself. Sure, so many places accept credit cards, but you should always have some local currency on hand when you arrive, especially for taxis, tips, and small purchases. You don't want to be scrambling to find an ATM the moment you land. So pro tip here, exchange a small amount of currency before your trip to grab some at the airport when you arrive. So the airport ones, the kiosks for this can be quite expensive. I like to use my travel credit card as much as possible, but having some local currency can be an absolute lifesaver. So maybe something you want to look into right when you get over to wherever you're going. So this one I've seen time and time again, and I've even made the mistake myself. People book super tight layovers, thinking they'll have enough time to make the connection, but one small delay and you're stuck at the airport for hours, maybe even overnight. Always give yourself at least 90-minute layover for domestic flights and 2 hours for international ones. I have pushed like an hour and 15 minutes. It's gotten a little sketchy because if you're leaving late and you're coming in late, it's not fun. You may have to sprint through the airport. I mean, it is definitely, the unscripted cardio that you weren't looking for, but I've done it and I pushed an hour and 15. Don't tell anyone. So Wi-Fi isn't always reliable and you don't want to get lost because you're out of signal or data. So before your trip, download offline maps of the city or area you're visiting. Google Maps has a great feature for this and it could save you from wandering around aimlessly. Any type of maps or predetermined destinations that you need to use, any type of Google Maps or whatever ways, download those prior so that you know where you're going. And even if you don't have Wi-Fi or service because you're up in the mountains or whatever, where your service isn't working, you always have a way and you know how to get there. Let's face it, not everyone speaks your language, and sometimes that language barrier can cause real challenges. That's why it's crucial to familiarize yourself with translation apps like Google Translate or ChatGPT before your trip. These tools can help you communicate better with locals, navigate signs, and even understand menus. Download them and practice using them ahead of time. You'll thank yourself later. Trust me, trying to order dinner without knowing what you're saying can be a risky adventure. I'm going to test that out when we go to Italy. Because I'm not going to know the language and I don't want to order the wrong thing, that's for sure. So last one, different countries have different customs, and failing to research them can make you look like a clueless tourist. Nobody likes that. Whether it's tipping rules, dress codes, or basic greetings, take a few minutes to learn about local etiquette before you arrive. It'll go a long way in making your trip smoother and not look like an asshole. And hey, nothing impresses the locals more than trying to speak their language, even if it's just a few phrases. This is brilliant with Google Translate as well, so try to pick up a few things to make yourself like, you know, the more you try to blend in with the local customs, it just goes a long way with the locals in the area. Even if you look like, you know, complete idiot trying to do it. So there you have it. There are the 10 travel mistakes you definitely want to avoid. Keep these in mind and you'll be well on your way to a smooth and enjoyable trip. Which mistakes surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to check out some of my other travel videos and some of my other travel playlists like Canada, Mexico, Dominican Republic, you name it, check them out, and we will catch you on the next one.